Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2020 SPE Leadership Talk. Let me introduce myself. My name is Alfina Luis from Pertamina, and I will be serving as your moderator for today's event. First of all, I would like to thank the distinguished speakers and all audiences for joining us here today in this seminar. I hope you enjoyed your lunch already. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our chairman of SPE Java Indonesia section, Pak William Ongseputra, to deliver the opening speech. Pak William, the time is yours.
Thank you, Vino. Can you hear me clearly? Vino?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Our honorable speakers, Pak Muhammad Nurdin, Pak Albert Simanjuntak, and Pak Moektianto Soeryowibowo. Thank you for supporting our event. And welcome also to our almost 200 participants who managed to join on time today. And we're expecting more as we go through the session. Okay, first and foremost, again, thank you very much for everyone who is willing to spend some time this Saturday afternoon during the weekend. Hopefully, this event will work for everyone as a good platform for knowledge sharing and also for learning. So, just a brief on SPE. SPE always has a mission. We are a platform for knowledge sharing and also for experience sharing. And this remains true even during our COVID situation. We may not see for now our social events like shrimp boil or our fish fry, which used to be famous before. But even during these hard times, we promise everyone that we will continue to become your platform for knowledge sharing and learning. And then to support this mission, maybe just one small ask to everyone here is to please sign up as our members if you have not already, because your sign up is what is enabling us to conduct these events for you. This event is free of charge, and we will be very supported if you are willing to sign up as our members. Just go to spe.org for more details. And then finally, before we start, I would like to share our condolences to one of our colleague, Mr. Stephen Broadmeadow. You may know him from your experience. He has been our avid SPE supporter. He was our chairperson in 2002 to 2003, and he is a friend to many of you here today. So condolences for Stephen. And back to Fino. Hopefully, I wish everyone to enjoy this session, and hopefully, we are looking forward to your support. Back to Fino.
Thank you, Pak William, for the opening speech. Before we begin, let me just share you the rundown of our event for today. Each distinguished speaker will be given 20 minutes to present their materials. And then afterwards, there will be a Q&A session. At the Q&A session, everyone here is allowed to ask for questions. However, you need to raise hand by clicking raise hand in your Zoom app, and I will select one of you randomly to be allowed to ask during the questions and answer session. And if I mentioned your name, please speak up to the microphone and then ask directly your questions. And after each question, the answer will be immediately followed by all of the speakers. And then moving on until the time is up to 4 p.m. Jakarta time. And before we move on to the first speaker, let me show you the short resume of all of our high-profile speakers for today. First, we have Albert Simanjuntak. He earned his bachelor degree from ITB in mechanical engineering in 1987, and then pursued his master's degree in business administration from Arizona State University in 2008. His work experience started in 1987 as a petroleum located in Duri, Riau, and then moving on to production engineer at Texaco E&P, assigned in Houston, USA at 92. In 95, he is the team leader and team manager for field management team Duri operations in Chevron, Indonesia. In 98, as the manager of corporate quality planning and budget, manager of strategic procurement, and manager of Duri operations, Chevron, Indonesia. In 2004, he served as a general manager of supply chain management. In 2007, he was assigned to Houston as the general manager of category and supply chain management. In 2010, he was the senior vice president of Sumatra Operations Support. In 2013, he was the senior vice president of policy, government, and public affairs of Chevron Indonesia Business Unit. And now he currently serves as the president director of PT Chevron Pacific Indonesia, and also act as the deputy managing director of Chevron Indonesia Business Unit, Chevron Asia Pacific E&P Company. Up next, we have Pak Muhammad Nurdin. He graduated from mechanical engineering from Universitas Gadjah Mada. He started his work experience as a senior engineer at ExxonMobil, located in Arun, Aceh, in 98, and then was assigned to ExxonMobil Australia in 2002 as a machinery and reliability engineer. In 2010, he was assigned to the United States as a facility engineering lead for Europe and Caspian, and the regional planning advisor for America and Canada. In 2012, he was the BTPO operations coordinator at ExxonMobil. In 2013, he was the planning and commercial manager before moving on as the vice president, planning and commercial. And in 2016, he was the vice president of ExxonMobil, and now currently he serves as the senior vice president of production in ExxonMobil Indonesia. Next, we have Pak Moektianto Soeryowibowo, and normally called Pak Suryo. He graduated from ITB in geology, and then he pursued his master's degree in San Diego State University, also in geology major. He started his career in 1988 as a well-site geologist in Chevron, located in Duri, Riau. And then in 1999, he was appointed as the geological supervisor in Devon Energy. In 2001, he served as the senior geoscientist at BP Indonesia. 2002, he was served as exploration manager before moving on to UK to become the senior development geologist at BP Angola. In 2007, he was back in Indonesia as the regional and renewal team leader. In 2010, he was the CBM exploration manager at BP Indonesia. In 2011, he was the vice president exploration, and now he currently serves as the head of country of BP Indonesia. Our session for today, and without Albert, the time is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank Pak William and the committee that has arranged this session, that as well as providing me an opportunity to share to share some of my journey on my learnings journey during my professional and my leadership assignment with Chevron. I would like also to thank all of the audiences that have joined this session. There are many familiar faces that are participating in this session. I would like to say hello to all of you, and then I hope you will find that this discussion today is valuable for you. If I may emphasize one thing in our discussion today, that is that our career in this industry is a journey. Where we were before, where we are today, and where do we want to go certainly matters. However, the more important than that is the journey itself. how much we learn during the journey, as well as how much we contribute and how much we enjoy the journey is important as well. Bottom line, we should be proud with our journey if we can continue adding value and leave a good legacy for the future generations. To help guiding me in this session, I would like to share several slides from Chevron to provide the context. We can certainly enrich our discussion later on beyond what I present this afternoon. Let me try to share my screen. If can you see that, Pak Alfian?
Yes, Pak. Yes, Pak. We can see.
Terima kasih. To start with, my first story on this discussion is about sharing that 1/3 of throughout my career, I spent 33 years with Chevron. I joined Chevron in 1987, and then you can see that it is 1/3 of the Chevron operations in Indonesia. So in this case, I have been very fortunate to join Chevron when in Duri, when the Duri steam flood was starting to pick up its activities. So the number of wells drills in the order of hundreds of wells per year, as well as the hundreds of $1 million investment per year. So it was a very busy activities back then. So I found that it is somewhat quite overwhelming from the activity. However, as I mentioned, I was fortunate that it was an opportunity for me to accelerate learnings. So a lot of things going on, a lot of activities as well as technology by itself were then implemented in Duri. So this is this kind of opportunity. Certainly there are some people like me who have that kind of opportunity, but the point is we need to capitalize in that kind of opportunity to gain the most importantly what we learn, what can we bring to the future. As far as the Chevron contribution to Indonesia today, Chevron produce around 25% of total Indonesian oil production per day. So we have around 3,200 employees. I am proud to tell you that the employees are human capital by themselves. This is a very big investment and legacy by Chevron in Indonesia. Very well experienced, very highly competent employees. So I am proud also to share that during this COVID-19 pandemic situation, we have been able to manage to make sure every single employees are fully protected. We have not had any cases in the workplace where the employees are impacted by the COVID-19. So, however, we need to stay being careful because we do find that some of employees were contacted. 1 or 2 or 3 employees were contacted during their off time, so are not in the workplace. So this is sending us a very strong message to continue maintaining our vigilance to operate carefully as well as protecting our people under this pandemic situation. So, and we proudly also would like to share that we have been contributing in terms of the oil production cumulative more than 13 billion barrels throughout the Chevron operations in Indonesia. Some of the technology I mentioned about the steam flood, it is one of the key technology that has been implemented in Duri and now is still continuing on under steam flood after almost 40 years during under steam flood, and then the port development opportunity still there to continue during steam flood to be developed. And Chevron has been implementing also in Sumatra as, in various fields water flood. Since 1970s with the conventional pressure maintenance water flood, followed by the pattern water flood in various fields, including Minas field and other fields in Sumatra. And we did develop together with our parent company. We developed the chemical EOR technology, and then we managed to successfully implement it. We achieved technical success to conduct the chemical EOR pilot in our field in Minas. And as part of this transition to the next operator, we are working with SK Chemigas to provide all of the results out of this chemical EOR pilot to SK Chemigas, then to the next operator. One thing that I would like to highlight throughout, as I believe, as well as all of you, throughout my career also, I observe significant transformation of the technology. Right now with the digital technology, the way we work significantly changed. Things that we could not do in the past, now the digital technology enable that access. So through the data, through the digital technology, we can automate many of the data acquisitions, even from thousands of wells, that enable us to optimize the efficiency of the wells, so as simple as pump sizing, as well as identifying which wells that are not pumping, including for determining the walkover opportunities. So that kind of technology also is being implemented across of our operations in Sumatra. So so I would like to share that next. I would like to share that I am also very fortunate that the company that I have been working with, which is Chevron, has a values that very aligned with my personal value. The one thing that the key tagline in our values here: deliver results the right way. So results certainly matter, but the way it is delivered is critical. It has to be done the right way. So quite often, sometimes we challenge our employees that may pick the shortcut. In this case, we ask them to be more patient and then make sure that we do it the right way. So shortcut can lead to something that may cause us even trouble, right? Maybe faster, but may not be sustainable. So that kind of message we constantly remind our employees, including our leaders. So some of the key highlight of these values that I would like to share with you, I believe you can. This is universal values that can be applicable to all of us. For example, like integrity and trust. So that's a key for me. It is a key recipe for us as an individual as well as a company to be successful in whatever we do. So if no one trusts me, if no one trusts Chevron, it will be very difficult to pursue our career or to pursue our business. For that trust, certainly we have to have a good integrity. So, and then as the current trend, the recent development in US, it reminded us again about the importance of diversity. Diversity is not about color only. Diversity is not about race. It's not about gender only. But diversity is about being heard. Someone that may be silent in a big group of people has deserved to be heard also. Even though we have the same color, even though we have the same race, But if we don't listen to that person, it is also not being inclusive. So I just want to highlight that some of the key values that we are embracing with Chevron that also very, very applicable for whomever that wanna develop their career wherever, in whatever industry. So in line with the values, one thing that I like about Chevron enterprise strategy, the Chevron enterprise strategy really walk the talk. So the values that I mentioned earlier that you have seen all of them. So basically being executed through the enterprise strategies. One example is the people. We say that we protect people and environment. So our first execution strategy as shown in this slide is we invest in people. So it is a significant strategy for Chevron. So to make sure that we constantly recruit, develop, maintain, and then even post working with Chevron, we continue maintaining that relationship through the partnership with our alumni as well. So that's the respecting our people, not only while they are working with Chevron, but while they are after they quote unquote graduate from Chevron in this case. So that's the value that we would like to continue maintaining, because only through the people we can be successful as a company. So shifting a little bit to coming closer to the topic of this session, which is about leadership, I would like to share how do we see leadership in Chevron. You can see the picture, the 3 layers cake picture on the left. You see we lead at the bottom. It is intentionally put at the bottom because leaders should be serving the employees. We will be successful as a company if every single employees in our company are successful. So the way we ask our leaders to lead is, your main role is to make sure every person that work for you, your direct report, are successful in doing their role. So you can imagine the 3,200 employees that I mentioned earlier, plus 23,000 contractor employees. If they are led by this kind of leaders who's serving the employees to be successful, we will be very, very successful. Certainly, those many employees are led through the one team to make sure that the right work are being done the right way, and every single employees know their role. So how to contribute to the country, to the company, as well as to the community surrounding our operations. And at the top of the cake, basically, we put a competitive performance. We used to, Chevron used to, until the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, Chevron used to benchmark itself against the competitors within the energy sector. For example, like ExxonMobil, BP, ConocoPhillips, within the energy sector. But if we see the market of the energy sector, like in the stock market, continue deteriorating in terms of the market segment. So right now, the energy sector become less than 5%. Combine all of the companies in the New York Stock Exchange market. So, which means that the market, the competition need to be opened up and become broader. So Chevron open up its mind to be competing in the overall market. For example, we are seeing the S&P 500 as our competition, not the energy companies any longer. So we aspire as a company to compete on that market. So this certainly require totally different leadership mindset. different leadership commercial acumen. So that we are going through what we call transformation effort right now. It's not transformation. It's not only in a sense of changing adapting to the current market situations or the current environment, but also preparing ourselves to be competitive in the market that I mentioned earlier. So in line with that, we expected our leaders. So as I mentioned, we expected our leaders to align and inspire their build alignment and inspire on their leadership, and then building the relationship. Relationship is critical, not only for a company but also for us. I mentioned earlier my journey throughout 33 years journey with Chevron. I built a lot of friends. I built a lot of relationships. Certainly, I made a lot of mistakes also. I probably make someone angry, but I think it is common that I will always ask for forgiveness to make sure that because relationship is really important for us to continue building our career wherever we are. So and then the next in the we lead is the growing the capability of our employees as well as growing the capability of the company. So and then delivering the results. So like I mentioned earlier, delivering the results the right way. The 5 behaviors that we would like to that we expect our leaders and employees to demonstrate. One is setting clear expectations. As leader, we must make sure that there is a clear expectation set and employees do understand about those expectations, and then observing their performance, helping them to be successful, as I mentioned earlier. And the role of the leaders is to remove barriers, understanding what obstacles that within the control of the employees, what obstacles are out of the control of the employees, and our role is to remove those barriers and provide the help to the employees. And one thing that we highlight very highly on the giving and receiving feedback. Quite often we feel not comfortable when someone provide us feedback. For us, feedback is a recipe to continue growing. So the key certainly how we respond to feedback. Sometimes someone gives a feedback, a very strong critic. Our attitude toward feedback is we need to be open-minded. Don't be bothered by how the feedback was given. Sometimes someone is just very straightforward to provide feedback. Don't be bothered with how the feedback is given, but please focus on the substance of the feedback. To me, for the young professionals, the leaders, early career leaders, one of my suggestion is please make sure that you are willing to learn, and then you are willing to be open-minded to listen to feedback. I think it is to me, if someone gives me a feedback, it is a free education to me for me to continue growing. Certainly, the role of the leaders is to coach the employees. Again, this is going back to the one team. I think the team spirit. All of us are very familiar about the team spirit. However, practicing it is an art by itself. How a leader to put herself or himself to coach, when to coach, when to support, and when to be in the middle of the team itself. As a coach, certainly we would like to establish an independent leader playing the coach role. Is to establish an independent team, and then that self-managed team that we can provide, that support, that deliver the results as expected, or even more than what expected. So we have to know when we have to step aside and play our role as a coach. Sometimes I'm sorry.
1 minute left.
Okay, thank you. So this is my last slide. Thank you for reminder, Pak Alvino. So as I mentioned earlier, so my career journey is a journey. My career with Chevron is a journey by itself. So the way we see this, throughout the journey, we face a lot of challenges. But the most important thing is we continue learning throughout that journey, and then let's just face the reality that we face in Chevron. We say that the leadership qualities that we are adopting is we do difficult in this case. I think I will stop there. Thank you for the reminder. This is happened to be my last slide. Thank you, and thank you for listening. Back to you, Pak.
Thank you so much, Pa Albert, for such an inspiring materials. Now we're moving on to our second speaker, Muhammad Nurdin from ExxonMobil.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, selamat sore, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. I believe you all can hear me okay. So number one is that I would like to thank you for the invitation. Thank you, SPE, for inviting me to join today's session. And the second one is about, I would like to thank you to be invited to have opportunity to be with Pak Albert and also Pak Surya. Both of them are my role model. Both of them are my senior, my teachers. So it is very my honor to be here with you all in this afternoon discussion. I think Mas Alvino going to be sharing the screen. Can you see the deck already?
Yes, I'm already sharing my screen right now.
Okay, so for whatever reason, I have not seen that one, so maybe a bit slow on my end. So are you on the slide number one, right, Mas, or slide number two?
Slide number two about me.
Okay, yeah, okay, about me. So what I would like to do today, so I would like to go a bit far about myself. So that is the picture of me when I was very young. So the reason I would like to put some context about how I was growing, more about to put context how it has been shaping my leadership to be aligned with the ExxonMobil core value around integrity, courage, around the care, around the relentlessness or be persistent, and also around excellence. So that how I was growing. So I was growing in the poor family also. My dad has very small income, and we had a sick brother and children, sick brother and sister in the family. So I was number 5 in the family, and because of at that time the economy very challenging for us. So I had to do other side of unlike other student in my age, maybe they go to school with a car, or they just go to school only carry the bag and the book. But my experience at the time, though, I had to sell cracker and cake and to the street shop, and any other day I had to carry the ice cream so that I can sell to other students. So I got paid around 25 rupiah at that time. So that more than enough to buy some food for lunchtime during that time. So at that time, I never had a dream to be even outside of Jambi, even outside of the country. Pak Albert mentioned about one of the big value of a company like ExxonMobil, Chevron, BP is around how they investing time and money for the people development. That's what something that to me, I'm very pleased joining the company like ExxonMobil. So if you don't mind to click the next slide, Mas Alvino.
Already, Pak.
Okay, so sorry that I seem kind of lagging on my part. So this is the second slide is I think you heard about my kind of resume before. When I was graduated at that time, so like only 50% of people graduated from the senior high school. So I was fortunate at that time. I had opportunity to went to University Gajah Mada. So one more thing that I would like to mention is about when I was at the senior high school, I was able to continue my study because I got a scholarship from Mitsubishi Motors. And likewise, when I went to UGM, I got a scholarship from Super Smart. Many of you know Super Smart was very powerful sponsorship entity at that time, and also got sponsorship from the Indonesia Engineering Association, or PII, which is PEE. And then I was able to complete my education at Gajah Mada University. and then starting joining the company back in 1998 in Aceh in Mobil Oil. So that's how my journey started. And then throughout my career in ExxonMobil, I was fortunate to have assignment in Melbourne, and also a couple years in Melbourne supporting district operation, also Long Island Point, one of the LNG terminal and crude processing, gas processing in Melbourne. And then went to Houston starting in 2009, and had to be quite short assignment in Houston, 2 years or less, as I had issue with my visa. When we were back to Indonesia, I could not get my visa extension. Finally, I got that one, but took about 7 months or so to get my visa. And then moving back to when I was in US, I was lucky to have opportunity to support Europe and Caspian operation, including the Kazakhstan, the one that in the middle. That is the project we were partnering with Chevron in Tengiz, and then supporting US operation, also Norway, and then back to Indonesia again. You can see the top right picture is the Banyurip operation. Right now, as for background, Banyurip is the top producer of oil in Indonesia. We are producing more than 30% of national production, or around 220 kbd, 220 2,000 barrel per day, or around like 32 million liters of oil every day. So there is a big contribution to the country. And another product of the Banyurip, it is operated by more than 98% of Indonesian. Comparing to other ExxonMobil project around the world, this is one of the projects that's very aggressive in terms of nationalization. So I feel very proud about how Indonesian talent can operate this complex plant, and also a big plant. One of the complexity of the plant is that it has 1.6% H2S and then around 40% CO2, which is quite complex and sour plant. And then ExxonMobil is not something new for Indonesia. We have been in Indonesia for more than 122 years. We started back in 1898, which is more than 122 years. And then from that time up to today, as ExxonMobil, as a company, we have been investing around 334 trillion rupiah. And the investment of ExxonMobil in Indonesia, it is beyond dollar investment. One of the area that we believe very strongly about what we can do as company to help the community around we operate. As of today, we can report to you all that there have been more than 100,000 of Indonesians have been receiving kind of benefit from where ExxonMobil operating around the world, including our era when we were in Aceh up to today when we are operating the Banyurip. If you don't mind to click the next slide. So to me, it is really journey, like Pak Albert mentioned about working in company like ExxonMobil, Chevron, BP, and many other company is a journey from the professional standpoint, but also a journey from the personal standpoint. So when I was in Melbourne, I was running a show, radio program called Selamat Pagi Indonesia. So 88.2 Soton FM. This is a community radio. So I engaging with Indonesian community in Melbourne between 2002 until 2004. And when I was in Houston, I was teaching the Indonesian culture for many of Indonesian children. One thing I found when I was in Houston is about many of Indonesian has concern about how the children being growing up in Houston and US, and they start to losing the Indonesian culture. Many of those are people that already moved to Houston or US a long time ago. So I was fortunate to have opportunity teaching them, including the Islamic study as well. And then when I found Houston, everything big. So there's so many kind of a personal journey along with our professional journey. To me, it is important in the spirit about being life balance. And what I found is that anytime you do you need to find way what you can do and contribute beyond what your current role in the company. As you don't know how much you can contribute. Sometimes you just but so many things that you can contribute, and so many people going to get benefit of you. You can go to the next slide, Mas Alvino. So like Pak Albert mentioned, which is we also have a kind of a similar approach, that leadership in ExxonMobil also like a journey. It has to be kind of starting from understanding about what's really you are facing. And from that kind of point, then you need to create like a collective understanding that you share with everybody in the team. What I believe, you have to develop what your a culture. A culture means to me what you believe is also something that your team believe. If the only one that believe about that one is you are not creating the culture. And it is important that you share the understanding and also help everybody understand about what the situation we are facing and then what we are going to do about that one. The next step is more about like self-awareness, which is you have to personalize reflecting about the strength and weakness of your team. I kind of people that believe that every worker come to the job every day, they are in all the intention about doing the good thing. To me, there are only two possibilities of people making mistake. Number one is about they don't understand what they do is a mistake. Second is about they make a mistake, they know, but they don't know how to kind of uh, move beyond that one. So any of those end up with the leadership to have playing role in that area. So the next level is more about you have to internalize some feedback. Pa Albert also mentioned about you can get feedback from your subordinate, you get feedback from your peer. You always are going to be aha when you receive the feedback from everybody. So like Pa Albert said, don't worry about how the feedback is said, but the most important is about what is the content that being delivered. It is something that you really need to be pay attention in that one. And then after you receive the feedback, right? So the next part is about what area that you need to evolve to continue focusing on and reinforce the understanding. The next step is about continue to engage. Very important. You need to engage always with your employee and also engage with your employer, and then be role model. You have to guide the people, and then they are relying on you. And after that, of course, that's how you can do cascading all those to the next level. You can see like a cartoon on the right part of my slide, the difference between leader and boss. Boss is somebody standing up and just saying, yelling about the people to move on. But leader is somebody give the room and helping the people to stepping up. At the end of the day, you're going to be at the same position, at the same area that with your subordinate or your employee. Mas Alvina, if you don't mind to click to the next slide. Okay, this is what the similar to what Pa Albert mentioned about. This is what we call in ExxonMobil an expectation of the leaders. Right now, Pa Albert mentioned about it is a very tough business in oil and gas. With today, the price is very low. You might recall about back in March the 3rd until April the 1st, the Brent price was dropping by 50%. Very significant, in less than a month dropping 50%. So as a leader, you have to be able to, number one is about setting up very clear clarity. Because of the things so dynamic, the priority could change time to time, but as a leader, it is important about you set create the clarity among your team. Goal setting very clear, and then they know exactly where they have to go. The second is about what I call is about set the standard, which is something that you need to make sure that your people have some empowerment, and then they're being accountable, and also you're going to lead them by the example, walk the talk. That is another area that's very important during this challenging time. Some people are a bit confused what these are the difference between accountable and responsible. To me, one of the example about the differences between those two is like you have a janitor at the office, and their role is more about like cleaning the floor using the vacuum cleaner every day. Cleaning that one every day, and at one point, one day, the vacuum cleaning was broken. He will not be doing the job because he already completed the checklist. He can do everything if everything supporting him to do. That is responsible janitor. What accountable janitor is that when he know or when she knows about the vacuum cleaner is broken, he's going to be fine. We have to fix the vacuum cleaner because of what his role is only beyond just ticking the box. He has accountability to make sure the floor going to be clean, and he's going to find way how to clean up the floor, including find way to get support and help to repair the vacuum cleaner. That's what is accountable is about. The third one is about promote innovation. Like I said, though, it is very challenging business. The technology, in addition to people, is going to be playing important role to compete with this current situation. And then you have to stretch your team. You have to stretch the team beyond the capability. Somehow is that we don't know how much we can we can push ourselves far, because we always have our bias about worry about being failed and worry about I can do that one because that's beyond my capacity, beyond my capability. But look, at some point, step back. You're going to deliver many things if you feel really believe about your capacity, your capability, your insight, those kind of things. Another important part in the leadership to me is also about inspire and motivation and motivate, which is you have to be genuine about that one and empathy, and also another area around that one is also around empowering them. And this is the area that's somehow it is easy to say, but when you come to the reality, the practicality at the ground level, it is something that is very difficult to inspire and motivate. As people has different motivation when do things, right? So you have to find the right way, the right approach, and the right point how you're going to motivate the people. And last one is that I would like to emphasize about leadership is a compete to win. It's about collaboration across the strength that you have. The strength could be within your organization, and the strength could be also you get from the help from external factor. Albert mentioned about relationship is very important, which is I also have strong belief about that one. We're going to use the relationship in the right way. Don't use the relationship in the wrong way, because our relationship is building based on trust, right? If you don't have any trust with your partner to build relationship, it's very difficult to kind of strengthen the relationship. And the last one is about the compete is also about sharing the success. You have to be able to articulate when is the win and what is the win. So when the people can see the win is not far away, though, they're going to be supporting you in many ways, because of some people are going to be challenging if they don't know exactly what is the win look like, and they don't know how they're going to be play a role and contribute in that regard. So that's kind of the slide that I have. So maybe I'm going to end at this point, but thank you again for listening to me. And like I said, thank you for being with us today, hoping that it's going to be good discussion and sharing. So it is not about me to inspiring you all, but I always learn a lot of things when attending this kind of session. Thank you again. Thanks, Mas Alvino.
Thank you, Pak Nurdin, for such an inspiring presentation. Now we will move to our final speaker from BP Indonesia, the head of country, Pak Suryo.
Thank you, Vino. Can you hear me well?
Yes, Pak.
Okay, that's very good. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. And first of all, I would like to thank SPE Java section for inviting me to this opportunity to speak to young generation of our professionals. So I noticed that there are several attendees are not longer young, but the majority are young. So yeah, so you know that it's always energizing for me every time to speak in front of young leaders. And you are the future leaders, and you are the future of this country. I'm not going to share any slides. I will just talk, you know, if you don't mind. So it's definitely it is a fantastic to see, you know, the energy of young people, and it just reminds me my time 30 years ago. Yeah, it's unfortunately that I'm no longer young now. So I'll start with the introduction of myself. I'm a geologist by background. So, and I've been in the oil and gas industry for nearly 30 years, 32 years now. I'm going to retire this year, as for your information. Certainly that I do enjoy my time in the industry, and I think I've gone through the golden period of the oil and gas industry. So I'll I'll share further later on that what I mean with the golden period of the oil industry. I started my career in Chevron, in Caltex in Rumbai, Caltex Pacific, Indonesia, back in 1988 in Central Sumatra. So it's about the same time with Pak Albert. And in fact, that we went to the same school in the same year in ITB. So and then I started my career spending time to look at the small pieces of rocks, which is the well cuttings, the rock cuttings, as a well site geologist. So you know that as a well site geologist, I was very familiar with the jungle of Central Sumatra as I went in and out of the jungles to to monitor the wells, to log the wells, and so on. And driving in the middle of the night in the jungle, I just have my radio in the next to me, just to accompany me, driving 2 o'clock in the morning. And it's quite interesting that if you're dealing with the drilling activity, then they start to stop drilling and then do logging and so on. It's just about in the middle of the night. So it is the job for a well site geologist to be ready to log the wells, and then the rest of the drilling crew can sleep. So that was why that we have to drive mostly during the night. But I was it's as a young geologist that I was quite enthusiastic to do those things. I felt lucky during my early career that in Rumbai, I got the experience to move around within the department with a different assignment, from well site to a development geologist, as an exploration geologist, and then went to the new ventures geologist, moving around from Rumbai to Jakarta, to Duri, back to Rumbai again, and so on. So that was a good time. And then working with starting with a small piece of rocks, and then looking at the basin scale of the petroleum geology. In the middle of my career, in the beginning, then I was lucky, and thank you for Caltex management that they sent me to get my master's degree in San Diego State University as an employee. So I was an employee, but I got the scholarship from Caltex to get my master's degree, almost 2 years. Then when I back there, then I complete the study and back to Rumbai again. But different from Pak Albert or Pak Nurdin, who spend their time throughout the career in one company. BP is my third company. So I started with Caltex, and then I decided to quit and pursuing a different career, and with Santa Fe Devon in Jakarta in '99, before I joined with BP in 2001 and stayed in BP until now. And it's good as well that get the experience, as been read before, that this spend 3 years in the UK, working as a development geologist in the ultra deep water project. That was the first BP operated block in a deep water Angola. It's quite interesting, different perspective, different challenges, of course, and and working with a different team, different people, different culture. Yeah. Well, I think that I can share more and go through definitely a long time to share my experience, but I would like to share something else now, as been requested by the committee. But before I go further, I'd like to share with you about BP in Indonesia. So BP in Indonesia, we have several business streams. So from upstream to downstream and trading. So we have the upstream, we have an operation in Tangguh, and in Tangguh we are operating 2 trains, 2 LNG trains. They currently produce about 7.8 million ton per annum. supported by around 14 wells, 14 producing wells. It's just quite prolific. And then we are also now in the middle of finalizing the construction of the train 3. It's another 3.6 million ton per annum capacity. We're working very hard to meet the schedule. And then we are also in the middle of the drilling of development wells to support the gas supply for the train 3. In the downstream, we have Castrol, the loops, and then we also have a petrochemical in Cilegon, and we have, I said, we have trading. And just recently, it's about 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, we also entering another business, the retail business. We are partnering with a local company called AKR, that one of the largest distributor of fuels and chemicals in Indonesia. So as you may aware that we have opened up now around 17 of the retails SPBU, the fuel stations throughout Jabodetabek and Surabaya. And then we are also working with the AKR to supply jet fuels. So it's a growing business in Indonesia. So it's more and more, and then I believe that we will continue to grow. Operating the Tangguh in a remote area is quite challenging, of course, and I will share you later on, what the challenges that we faced during the COVID. Yeah. Some of you may also aware that in February, our new CEO Bernard Looney shared the new purpose and ambitions of BP, which is i.e. to achieve a net zero by 2050 or sooner. So you may have seen around the reimagining energy, reinventing BP, and also to perform as we transform. Those are the three major agenda, has been laid out to support the new purpose and ambitions. And what does it mean? I think that I'll go there as well, toward the end of my talk. All right, so I think that I believe you are all aware of our world, that our world continuously changes. The change caused, of course, by nature and also by human, by us. Yeah. People say that the only certainty in this world is the change itself. And change can be evolutionary or catastrophic. As a geologist, I'm familiar with this, of course, because we learn the history of our planets since hundreds of million years ago, and we identify what are the changes throughout the time. And the good thing is that the changes always expose us to new challenge, and this is as a human, we are familiar with the change and the challenge itself, in which that it drives us to adjust ourselves with a new situation, the new way of living. And to me, challenge is exciting. It is something that drives me to stay alive, to think, another way, to think, differently, and to do something differently as well. So that's the challenge, that they give us the adrenaline to life. So, and you know as well that during this decade we have been facing changes as well. Key changes, you are aware about the technology disruption, the change that has been driven by technology, and it does, change the way we live, the way we interact, the way we communicate, the way we do business, right? And now we are in the middle of another challenge, change being made by COVID, by the small, you cannot see what does it look like, the COVID-19, but it does change it as well, that the way we interact. And our success our success will be measured if we are able to face and get over the challenge created by those changes. So those are the success that you don't need to think about the big success. Big success is actually made of many incremental small changes and small successes. And I see that the way I see it, the success is every time you can get over the changes, then the challenges, then it is the success that you made. Yeah. Talking about the great leaders, what are skills that needed, to become a great leader? I've been observing throughout my career, and then the observing myself as well. When we are stepping to a higher ladder, the most important skill set that would drive us to the higher ladder is the soft skills. Soft skills is something that are not taught in the classroom, something that we can learn outside of the classroom through our interaction with people, with colleagues, or with friends, or even with your enemies. So this is about leading people. This is about sharing ideas, convince our ideas. It is about the behavior of the open mind, being assertive. It is the art of challenging each other, right? And then also how we can build the teamwork, right? And the first was about the soft skill, and the second is about the behavior. And when we talk about the behavior, it is about how we do, how we deliver, how we describe and convey the message, how we communicate, how we lead. It's about how. It's not about what. Because what is about your core competencies. What is about your hard skill. And when you are stepping into a senior positions, your what is already done. You have laid out your fundamentals. Then the people already recognize that. But then what the important is about your soft skills and your behaviors. So therefore, that I would suggest and recommend you to increase and then you sharpen up your soft skills, and also that be aware of your behaviors. Yeah. The other thing is also important is how to develop your values. Pak Albert and Pak Nurdin already shared about the values that been, developed in Chevron and in ExxonMobil. BP also have values. We have 5 values that been introduced to the employees, and it is the guidance for the company to do their business, as well as the company, the employees interact and deliver their objectives. So there are 5 values. It is safety, respect, excellence, courage, and one team. So safety, number one, safety is number one. We do not compromise on safety in our operations. It is a very important thing that if anything conflicting between safety and something else, then safety is number one. Yeah. Number 2 is about respect. Respect to everyone, respect to our stakeholders, respect to our government, to our communities, respect through following the regulations, and then the inside of the respect itself, there is values of diversity and inclusions. Diversity means that a more heterogeneous, you come from different religions, different tribes, your background are different, your study different, your alumni different, everything, right? But how that we can keep ourselves to maintain the diversity, because diversity is great value, that the diversity can create a strong performance and make sure that everybody is inclusive, not being exclusive yourself. So everybody is treated fairly. And then the third is about excellence. Yeah, Excellence is about the heart of our professionalism, of course. As a professionals, you know what excellence means. We do everything as possible up until the technical limits. And courage, you know, Albert and also Pak Nurdin mentioned around courage. You know, it is to encourage people to speak up, to express their mind, to express what they think, express the opinions, you know. So and the last one is one team, to make sure that we are working for one single company, the same objective. There is no one is more important than others, but we are working as a one team. Those are the values. Now, I think that you need, as a professional, you need to develop your own values. Yeah. So the challenge that we have, you know, of course, that we are facing right now, as mentioned previously, is around our current environment. It is a challenging situation, of course, that the low oil price that we faced, you know, last month. It is the first time in the history that we see the oil price is below zero. It is a negative. You know, that it's quite interesting, and it's just shocking the business overall. Yeah, and the challenge, this is in what my observation is, that it is driven by two things. Number one is about the technology, and number two is about the clean environment. You know, our crisis now is about the price, the oil price, and also the demand, the low demand. But the thing is, in the future, going back, if everything back to normal, then the technology that will expose us, you know, to develop the alternative energy, and then the clean environment. It is now become the, you know, what you call it, the demand or the desire of many people to live in a clean environment. So in the futures, I believe that the fossil fuel industry will change gradually, maybe throughout 30, 40, 2050, and so on. And the key word for the oil and gas industry is being efficient. Being efficient, which means that the you know, putting technology in there, and then the giving people more to responsibility. You know, the word agile now is very popular, and how to respond very quickly, and then being independent to do our job, and in a small team, and so on. Then this is the you know, the challenges you know, laid out in front of us, in which that we have to start ourselves to prepare ourselves to adjust with the new challenges. Yeah. Of course, it's going to impact the job opportunity, I think. Yeah, and then then the key for you as a professionals is how you keep up yourself.
Thank you, Pak Surya,
being
for
excellent.
the knowledge sharing, even without a presentation slide. The message is perfectly.
So I think that I'll stop here. Yeah, I'll leave it to back to you.
Thank you, Pak Surya, for the knowledge sharing. Even without a presentation slide, your message is useful for all of us. And now, before we move on to the Q&A session, I would like just to present you a little bit about a message from the organizer, the SPE Java section. So this is only a slide to explain to you all about this SPE organization. We are a nonprofit organization with 164,000 members in 143 countries. We are currently the largest organization serving managers, engineers, scientists, and other professionals worldwide in the upstream segment of the oil and gas industry. In Indonesia, we have 3 sections, the Java, Sumatra, and Balikpapan. Our current branch, the SPE Java, has 392 professional members and 6,000 student members. Our membership price is only $20 per year, and for students, you can get $10 per year or even free if you select Chevron as the donation to the student membership application. And what you can get while being a member of SPE is that you can subscribe to the JPT, or Journal of Petroleum Technology, and other articles as well. And you can access the SPE Connect. It's an online technical and professional communities where you can exchange information with all of the professionals worldwide. You have the CMT, Competency Management Tool, for online skill assessment. And with your membership fee, you can also contribute to the scholarship program. We actually actively contribute to the scholarship program throughout the universities in Indonesia. You also have the chance to volunteer and network with the other professionals as well. There are free webinars and lectures, and you can also get discounts on one Petra papers and conference and workshops. We also have workshops, for example, the Epoxy, Asian Pacific Oil and Gas Conference and Exhibition. You can get discounts using the SPE membership. And now let's continue to our Q&A session. We already have one participant raising a question. To Mbak Siti Maftuka, I will unmute you and you are allowed to talk through the microphone and perhaps open up your video. Mbak Siti Maftuka, you have to let me unmute you first. All right, it's a bit non-responding, so we'll go to the next question from Mbak Ajeng Saraswati Putri. You may talk directly through the microphone, please.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. First of all, I would like to thank the committee and also the speakers for today, Pak Albert, Pak Nurdin, and Pak Suryo. So since we have all leaders over here, I think the best question that I could raise is about the people, because basically leaders lead the people, right? So the question for me, can I ask 2 questions?
Because we have so many participants raising questions, so perhaps this one gets one question first,
all right.
And then once you get, once we have another time, then we'll you can raise another questions later on.
Okay, so the question would be, as a leader, I believe that all of you already see a person who is very capable on doing her or his job. And you also know that these people, have the potential to be the next leader in the company. But at the same time, this people is also, the best people that you have in the department or in that function. So you have this dilemma of, if this person, let's say, needs to be moved to another department in pursuing his better career path, as a leader, what would you do? Would you rather let this person pursue his career path, or you would still need him or her stay in the department in the function that he or she is right now? Because again, he or she is very good at doing her job. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Mbak Ajeng. I will let Pak Albert to answer this question first.
Terima kasih, Mbak Ajeng. So, very good question. This is the dilemma that every leaders always face. So, one thing between keeping an employee who perform at their peak, at his or her peak in one department versus continue developing her or his career for the long run of the company. So certainly one key aspect is in people development that we must always implement is about succession plan. So building the talent pool for young professionals as they move upward throughout their career, that basically we need to make sure the bench strength of the employees continue being strengthened. So certainly quite sometime a leader who has comfortably worked with a team, then usually for young professionals we would like to move them quite fast. we have what we call Horizon program, where selected employees are moved 3 times within 2 years. The purpose is to build a well-grounded employees with experience and skills before they continue enhancing their career. So the challenge is, once an employee reach a peak performance in one position, then the leader has to release that employee and develop another employee in that position. So we have to balance. Certainly, we have to move the employee at the right time and making sure overlap between the employees that will be moving out, then the employee that's succeeding that person is properly managed, basically. So in a nutshell, make sure that we have a good succession plan, even for young professionals, to develop a good talent pool, so we don't have quote-unquote difficulty to find replacement for employee that need to move out. 3, develop a good program to make sure that we continue developing our people. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Albert. Pak Nurdin, you may answer the question now.
Yeah, I think similar to what Pak Albert said, in ExxonMobil, we believe there are 2 key components to make the company success. Number 1 is about people. The second is about the technology. So one of our role in ExxonMobil as the leader is more about what we can do as the leader to develop people up to the maximum potential, we believe about there is no kind of a stopping of people to grow, because of if we believe about people is the core for the company, we have to invest to the employee. In ExxonMobil, we have what we call as the golden triangles. The one side is more about what the employee talents, skill set, and also capability. Another set of the side is company needs or company requirement. And then another important part is also about that individual desire, because we need to also consider people desire. And to the example that Mbak Ajeng provided, as the leadership, we also going to be tested what we call as the general interest, right? So we should have the mindset about, at the end of the day, it is not about my function to be success, but when we are going to be able to sustain a company to be success, you have to have the general interest. It is not only about the success of function. Pak Suryo mentioned about it is the success of everybody. So you have to invest in the team. I had personal experience though. One of my course and engineer had opportunity for assignment in Houston. At that time, I did have a very significant program that she had to take. But for me, I should release her because she has the right opportunity to go. And at the end of the day, if she can be continue further develop, it is going to be benefit for company, for ExxonMobil globally, not only ExxonMobil Indonesia. And I should be proud because I'm going to sending one of Indonesian to the globe. So I take care of some of her part, and then she went to Houston. But I feel like I did my job. She has right to go, and I had to develop people up to their maximum potential. So that was what's my view about developing people. Yeah, the 3 golden triangle. Yeah.
Thank you, Pak Nurdin. Pak Suryo, you may now answer the question.
Thank you for the questions, Putri. So yeah, in NPP we have what we call my plan. It is the something that we set up every year at the beginning of the year. What we're gonna do throughout the year, and then we have a conversation 3 times. Conversation which is in the beginning, in the middle, at the end. And the other thing is that we also have what we call an aspiration conversation as well. So if somebody wants to pursue something, it shouldn't be a surprise for the team leader. However, that every single person has their own reason, to make the decision, and I always put my respect on that. So if we, if the conversation doesn't resolve, and and it is something good for this individual to move with the what they wanted, it's fine, you know. And would that impact to the organization? I would take the risk. So so we should have managed the conversation, because we have the the official schedule with that, and then we can do out of the official schedules. But you know, uh, I always respect people with what they wanted. Yeah.
Well, thank you to all speakers for answering our first question. Next, we are going to have a question from Nadia Inestafia. I'll unmute you first. Mbak Nadia Inestafia.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Mbak.
Thank you for giving me a chance to ask a question. Before I ask, let me introduce myself. I am Nadia from ITS. I want to ask that as a leader, take an example that as a leader in a project, there will be so many cases that need to be solved. And I take one case to be asked in here. As a leader, how to solve a problem if there is an out-scheduling moment, like in this situation, cause of pandemic COVID-19. If there is a project that's still in progress, what is a wise decision that will a leader take to tackle that problem? Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Nadia, for the question. I will let Pak Nurdin first to answer it.
Okay, thanks, Mbak Nadia, for the questions. Hoping that you got benefit from this session. So we see you as the future oil and gas leader at some point. Yep. So today is very challenging time. Pak Surya mentioned about that one. As number one is that the demand is so low. Pak Surya also mentioned about even we have to sell the crude at the negative price. It doesn't mean that we have to pay the tanker, because of they have to they have to take the crude from many of places of the oil producer around the world. And then the project is always quote unquote have some complexity, right? Depending how big and how the size of the project. But any project should start with what going to be the value the project going to be delivered. Of course, the value is evaluated based on certain assumption, and then you have to be mindful about when the key assumptions are changing. So the value that expected from the project going to be changing too. So that's one of the fundamental kind of discussion around the project. So the second one is about when you understand about assumption is changed though. The second is about what you're going to do, knowing about the assumption is changed, anything you can do in terms of the project execution. For example, is the keyword about the efficiency. This is the time then so everybody has to be really closely look at about what we can do to being efficient in doing certain things. The third one is about look at again the capability and the capacity of the team. It is very important that you really engaging with the team, highlighting the issue and also the clarity. Like I said, there's one of the expected leader is about setting the clarity and also set the standard. It is very critical in the current situation about Pak Surya mentioned about it is not only about the what, but the most important is about what is the context or what is the why. So among those kind of area, one is about understanding the value and the key assumption. The second is about what you can do with the team capacity. And then the third one is about anything that you can do in terms of the why, what the project team can do to adjust the assumption. That is also another important part, including leveraging the technology, being more efficient, asking for the other support. So those kind of things that need to be considered. At the end of the day, a project has to be deliver value. So it's more about a kind of a risk versus a reward is something that we always discuss and talk at the leadership. What are the risks and what are the rewards? So balancing between those two is more about the fundamental discussion, how you're going to decide the project move forward. So that's my thought.
Thank you, Pak Nurdin. Pak Suryo, you might take your turn now.
Thank you, Nadia, for the question. So my short answer is, if you have any such a problem, don't wait. Don't wait until the problem becomes bigger. When you start to see the problem and then start to talk, you are not alone. You are in a team. You have your supervisors, you have your leader, and those are the people that you need to talk to. Don't wait. Be agile. If you see any problem, and then just start to talk. I think that it is my advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Suryo. Pak Albert, you may now answer the question.
Yes, thank you, Mbak Nadia. Another very good question. So this is a perfect example, right? Under the current situation, it's not only the COVID-19 that become our significant challenge, which limit our capability to execute projects, but also the drop in oil price. So basically, in this kind of situation, the first thing that we have to do is to go back to revisiting the overall project portfolio. Again, the company is expected to deliver value to the shareholders, including to the country where we operate, right? So that is the bottom line, and we have to do it safely. We have to protect our people. We have to protect the environment. So the first step is to revisit again the overall project portfolio. Look at which one that still that under which phase the project is. If it is usually we call it under the early stage of the project development, and then still going to be quite long before we can start executing the project. The question is, should we proceed with this project, continue spending money while the return still quite long before we can put it on operations? So that kind of project usually get to be lower priority. One, under this current circumstance, all of the company will strive for making cash. So that is the key, right? So that's the first step, reviewing again the overall project portfolio. And then if you pick if you choose certain projects to continue executing, because it is still important for the long run as well as the current. So again, the first criteria that we have to do it is you have to do it safely. You have to make sure that the people who are executing the project are fully protected. So there are many projects, including in our operations, we have to scale down. For example, from 50 people in one location have to be scaled down to less than 25, even 20, because of the physical distancing. Certain projects that requiring close proximity between the workers need to be pushed back and rescheduled. So so in this case, we have to adapt to the situation that the normal project schedule is no longer feasible. So we have to revisit the schedule, scale it in accordance to the new COVID protocol, and scale it in accordance to the new economic business environment, including the project economic is changing under the oil price, new oil price environment. So that is so. However, in a specific project, if you have a project delay, in this case, under a normal situation, the first thing that I usually ask is the project leader. What can I help the project leader with? What are the root causes of the delay? So again, if you go back to our previous conversation, the role of the leaders, one key role of the leader is to remove barrier. So we expect if leaders perform the role and then make sure that the project team is provided with the resource and help needed, the project should not be having delay. However, things can always happen. Again, we need to identify the root cause, and then that's why the part of it is the being disciplined in project management and monitoring. So we should be able to anticipate if a project is going to be delayed, and identify the root causes so we can intercept before a difficult delay happen. So a good project management incorporates such approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert, for the answer. I will now go back to our first participant to ask the question. Mbak Siti Maftuka, can you hear me? Mbak Siti, I have unmuted you, but you have to let me unmute you. All right, seems still not responding. So we will go to our next participant, Mas Rian at Podcast Chalcast. Mas Rian.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
Yep. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Muhammad Rian from UPN Veteran Yogyakarta. I'm a fresh graduate geological engineering. I want to ask, I do love leadership related discussion like this. And I believe as a leader, we have to have some kind of extreme ownership. That basically means there is no bad team, only a bad leader. So to be a leader is such a big risk to handle. And I would like to ask, how do we manage risk? This is such a big problem, especially for students. They are smart, but they not have the courage to take the risk. How can we manage the risk that we take, especially as a leader? Thank you.
Thank you, Mas Rian. I will let Pak Suryo now to answer the question.
Thank you, Rian, for the questions. Yes, so as I said before, around the change, exposing challenge, and of course, inherent in it is about risk. You know, this is something that you and everybody has to be aware of, that risk is inherent within the challenge. So, of course, that we need to understand what are the challenges and how you respond to the challenge. And you know, I'm quite familiar with risk. I'm a geologist. I'm an explorationist. You know, I deal with risk. I drill. To be honest, I drill the dry hole as well. So so those are risk, business risk. But what we need to understand is how to understand a calculated risk. The risk that actually we know it is the risk. We proposing a well with an only 20-25% of success, chance of success. What does it mean? It is 75-80% fail. But we know if it does fail, we know it fails because of what? Right? So understand that. Understand, you know, what is the risk that you are facing, and how you manage and how to mitigate those things. And it is quite important if you deal the risk with somebody else, with the stakeholders, then be open. Be open. It is the risk that we are facing together. You know, because we need to have the understanding and we need to have the acceptance and agreement with our stakeholders to understand the risk. So not only risk, but understand the risk and mitigate it so you know it is a measured risk. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Pak Suryo. Pak Albert, you may now answer the question.
Yeah, Pak Rian, thank you for the question. I would like to underline one word that you really use in your question, which is the word courage. To be a leader has to have a courage to make quick, difficult decision. So that's all about the risk, right? So again, echoing Pak Suryo, and we have to be able to identify what kind of risk. Again, as leader, we should be able to develop the support system around us, the people that work with us, to help us in making a decision. However, the decision still belongs to us to make. So without courage, continue assessing the kind of risk, and then all of the risks already identified and develop mitigation plan, still not making the decision, then the word courage become key here. So in this case, Mas Rian is, we need to understand the type of risk. So in this case, throughout my experience, also through my education, life learning, in this case, we have risks that relate to technical risk. For oil and gas industry, we know surface risk and subsurface risk, right? So we deal with those every day. And then the economic risk. The economic risk relate to the changing in the financial regime, for example, that may impact the project risk. So then the social risk. You make a decision that may cause some of the people surrounding our operations may be negatively impacted or negatively view it, even though the result, the impact has been mitigated. And legal risk. Again, legal risk in the change. Sometimes the key is for legal risk to make sure that we comply to all of the regulations. And then the political risk. Even though we make the right decision, but it may not be the right decision from certain group of people. And usually inside company is about popularity risk. Under, for example, under a very tight cost management today. So one thing that some companies choose to conduct what we call voluntary severance program. In that case, in Chevron, we did go through that 2 times. We did 2 voluntary severance programs when we went through a very difficult time. The key is how we involve the employees in the decision making. For that kind of risk, employees are not an object in decision making. If the decision impact the employees, the employees should be put in the subject. They should be involved in the decision. So we develop the program by involving the employees as a subject, not as an object. So again, this is going back to the previous comments by Pak Nurdin or Pak Suryo, that we have to respect people as people. So this is identifying this kind of risk and then addressing those risks appropriately. So including defining the mitigation. Once you have the right, again, once you have the right balance between the reward and the risk, and then you are able to mitigate the risk, the keyword, as I would like to repeat again, you have to have the courage to make the decision. But if you don't have the courage to make a decision, I would say that you have to give that leadership position to someone else that will make that decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Albert. Pak Nurdin, you may now answer the question.
Okay, I think let's step back a couple of steps. Number one is about the oil and gas business is a risky business. And then as a leader, we are expected to be like a risk manager. We are not expected to be like a risk elimination, because of the risk is always a part of the oil and gas business. Albert mentioned it could be the risk about the political risk, financial risk, geological risk, and operation risk. And that is number one. Number two is about back to the fundamental, what is the risk is about. To me, the risk is kind of a sum of the probability times the consequence. The consequence could be consequence to the people, consequence to the project economy, consequence related to the safety. And once you know about what is the consequence that you might be ending up, the second component is about the probability. Those two kind of key components you have to manage. On the consequence, you can try to understand what would be the mitigation measure that you can put to lower the consequence. And on the other side of the probability is more about what you can do to make it the likelihood of the event going to be small or less. So between those two, you need to kind of balance those two to end up with certain risk that at the end of the day, what we call as the acceptable risk level. At the end of the day, it's very challenging that you have to eliminate all the risk. But along that line though, one thing that you have to be mindful about, what is the core value that you have to protect? For me, for Pak Albert and for Pak Suryo, is people's safety is very important. So 50% of my time has been spending in operation. We are dealing with life and death because of oil and gas involving the hydrocarbon can be can be kind of end up as the ignition source, can be end up as a big flaring and and also could be like H2S release, the operation that we have in the binary. So you have to really look at about at the end of the day what you can do to protect the people. You have to look at in many ways about protecting the people, and then make sure the people is also on board about what you are going to do in managing the risk. Pak Suryo and Pak Albert mentioned about courage for conviction. It is very important because you cannot get the implementation of the preventive measures or mitigation measure going to be effective if you don't have a belief from the any of good things cannot without everybody have a good. So that might be kind of my further on. I like to emphasize again probability and also the consequence.
Thank you, Pak Nurdin, and all the speakers for answering the third question. Now for the fourth question, I will let Mas Hardito.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Okay, first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Hardy from GE. To all speakers, I want to ask what the KPI to be a successful leaders, because I believe all of you have one single shot of mind that brings your journey to be like present now. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Mas Hardito. Albert, you may answer the question now.
Thank you, Pak Hardito. So basically, well, first thing that I would suggest each of our young professionals is to be successful in their career, as well as pursuing leadership opportunity. Basically, just be yourself. So that is the first thing. So you cannot be someone else to be successful as a leader. You have to be yourself. And then you have to continue building the characteristics that will be required to be successful. So there is no one single recipe. But as I mentioned earlier, I think the three speakers, Pak Suryo and Pak Nurdin, we are all sharing our experience, but by emphasizing that this is a journey. How we go through this journey and continue strengthening ourselves in terms of the hard skills, as well as the most importantly, the soft skills in this case. So let's make sure that we pick up all of the learnings. We pick up as we go along through this journey, we become better day by day. We cannot be better in 1 year. But we can be better day by day, and then in the overall we can become better. So and then the second is humility is critical from my perspective. So being yourself, then humility. Leadership position is not the position. So some people bear in mind leaders who receive all of the benefits one day will step down, and all of those benefits will disappear. All of the respect, for example, if you are a minister, usually you have someone that open the car door for you, right? But once you're no longer a minister, that may disappear later on. So bear in mind, humility or rendah hati is the key, and then you need to make sure that you serve your people. A leader can only be successful if the people work for her or him are successful. So the first role of the leader is to help the people to be successful. I shared earlier several tips, including setting the clear direction and expectations. So those are my two advices. Mas Hardito is if you continue continue learning throughout your journey, continue serving your people, chance is you will be very successful leader, Pak.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pak Albert. Pak Nurdin, you may now answer the question.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Pa Albert just said. A leadership like a journey, right? It's going to be never-ending journey. You're going to find way about what you can do to improve yourself, and then the issue is about if you satisfied to what you are achieving today, you are going to fail because of the world is going to be competing, and then as the leadership, a leader, you have to be adaptable. A couple of things that I would like to maybe highlight. Like a core value as the leader around the integrity, which is to me it is very important. Which is I always teach to my children whom is saying about jujur penting toh. So I like to build in the important. The second is being there, which is one of the Albert mentioning about being humanly, it is also another important part. I like for what Albert says about as a leader, you get benefit of many things because of you are a leader. When you step down, nobody will be opening your door anymore. You're going to work by yourself though. So as you are a leader, don't always take it for granted. Do in your way as the leader, make it a changes, making improvement as you are the leader. Another important part to me is about the relentless and also be persistent as the leader because of today I think very challenging. If you are not relentless or you are not persistent about delivering things, how people can be rely on you because of as the leader, you should be able to set up the vision, make it very clear and expectation also set up the standard. The courage for conviction is another important as well for the leader. And so I would like to also echo what Pa Albert says about be yourself because of it is important that you assess what is your strength and also what is your weakness. Don't spend too much time about trying to fix your weakness because of the end of the day, you're going to be end up with you just get frustrated. But look at what is your strength and see what you can do about improving your strength. You might be shining in that strength rather than you just kind of stuck in the way that you disregard with the weakness that you have. So, and last part is about look at around you. Who are the leader? It might not be somebody that in the higher salary grade, but might be somebody like informal leader. You can learn from that one. So learn from many ways. Learn from everybody that going to be helping you to reshaping your leadership. That's my thought, Mas Hardito. Thank you for the question. Great question.
Thank you, Pak Nurdin.
Thank you, Pak Nurdin. Pak Suryo, you may answer it now.
Yeah. Thank you, Hardito, for the question. So I think if we talk about success, I shared with you before that the success, to me, the way to look at the success is every time that you are able to get over from the challenge. So it's not a big thing. It's not necessarily a big thing, and you face the challenge every day. And actually, as Nurdin, Albert mentioned around the journey, it is about the accumulation of the success itself. You make something small success, small success, small success. You accumulate those things. And the key things is that you have your own commitment to do this, being consistent, and being resilient. The situation may change, and it will change every day. It sometimes becomes good, better, sometimes become bad or worse. But being resilient with that, and you're consistent, and with your commitment as well, I believe that you will continue to progress. Mix your small step of success and accumulate your success, and then it will become something big. It's not about the or flapping your hand or see it overnight. No, it's not. It goes through time. Yeah, I think it's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Suryo.
Thank you to all speakers for answering the question. Now we're moving on to our fifth question. It's going to be from Mas SHP Simanjuntak. Mas SHP Simanjuntak, please ask your question directly to the microphone.
Thank you so much. Okay, my question is about leading in the new era, which I view as meritocracy approach, empowerment, younger human resources. My question, what are your suggestions to specifically millennials or younger contributors about determination, contribution, know-how toward the future of oil and gas industry and or our beloved great country Indonesia? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pak Simanjuntak. Pak Nurdin, you may answer the question first.
Yeah, I think we like millennial definitely because you're going to be our future industry, and I want to emphasize about this oil and gas industry, important industry. Despite the risk that's along with the industry, this is the industry helping people to provide energy, and with the energy, people get industry and people get benefit to improve their business. The challenges that we are facing today is about what we can do as oil and gas company to provide affordable energy for people. And on the second hand of the side of the coin is about people asking us to be environmentally friendly and to protect natural resources. And then you are the millennial, which is one of the power of the millennial is about always thinking outside of the box. My generation, Pak Suryo generation, we have our bias. So one thing is that it is always to have somebody like you all the millennial in our decision making. One of the key area that really leader not always realizes about they have a bias. It could be experience bias, could be also the distances bias. Those kind of biases can be corrected to have somebody like you all, the millennial, who always have the outside about thinking. Because of Pa Surya mentioned a couple times about this industry continue going to be evolving. This industry continue to be dynamics. Doing the same way as what we have done in the last 20 years is not going making us as the business going to be success in the future. So again, so as a millennial, so I encourage you to kind of joining this business. Again, this is an important business for people, and then you all will be going to be the key for us to continue success in oil and gas business.
Thank you, Pak Nurdin. Pak Suryo, you are welcome to answer.
Yes, Pak SHP, the industry is definitely is facing a challenge right now, and if you look at then at the global scale, it's it's kind of a blurry, to be honest with you. Although that the in the energy mix, in the primary energy mix, I believe, and I think that the some observe the consultants is also the observe that the contribution of the fossil fuel is still around maybe 40-50% of the demand of the energy. But the other report said that the the current discovered resource is enough to be produced until maybe more than 2050 without having the new discoveries. But so it looks like that if you look at the global side, looks like it's blurry, looks like it is a sunset, But if you go back to Indonesia, then the situation is different. Currently, the government still spend a lot of devisa, a lot of money, the foreign exchange, to purchase, to import oil. What does it mean? That this country still need oil and gas, still need energy. Demand will continue to increase, right? And then so for young professionals, I believe that continue to build your profession, your excellence, young professionals. Yeah, to be the professional of the oil industry for our country. Believe that the it is still in the next 20 30 years that this company still need this country still need oil and gas to support the construction, the development of the country itself. Yeah, so stay strong, keep continue to build your professionalism, and then set up the futures for this industry. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Pak Suryo. Pak Albert, you may answer the question now.
Thank you, my brother Simanjuntak. So one thing I have three things that I would like to share with you is the first is under under this difficult situation, we have this pandemic, and also we have the low oil prices. My advice is first is we have to continue looking for opportunities. So under this era, basically two things that become a big opportunities for us. One is the energy transition, right? So I think we need to learn what does it mean. What does energy transition mean, especially in Indonesia? So look at the trend of the energy transition in Indonesia. So that will define the market for the professionals there. And then the second is this digital transformation. It requires a new skill sets for us, for the young professionals to enter the market about these digital transformations. So those are the opportunities that I would like to highlight in this case. And the second is about the adaptability, focusing only on the conventional oil and gas. Meanwhile, what is required is the energy. This relates again to the opportunities that I mentioned earlier, that we need to be adaptable. My advice is we need to be adaptable and toward what the market is really looking for. And the third is my advice, having gone through a very long career with up and down in my life, not only my professional life, but also my personal life. My advice to the millennials is, my third advice is, please live a balanced life. What does it mean? You can pursue your professional career, but we have family, we have friends, we have society that we need to also relate to. So this is so some of you may choose to or already have a family, have children. Please make sure they are also you build the relationship not only on your professional career, but also with your family, with your children. Again, I mentioned to you that I went through up and down through my career, and then my sharing is this is based on my personal experience. Make sure that you live a balanced life on that aspect. Thank you.
Thank you, Pa Albert. Thank you to all the speakers for the answers to the questions. I am deeply sorry to all participants, but we still have 3 remaining questions. However, the time has passed 4 o'clock, and we are terribly sorry to see that 3 more questions will not be answered for today's session. However, before we close the session, we are going to take a group picture together. So please, everyone, open up your video, and we are going to take a screenshot together. We are not in the same room, however, we are still in the Zoom meeting together. So please, everyone, if you are still covering up your video, we're going to take a screenshot together. All right, we are still seeing few people who with the videos off. All right, I'm having a first page of everyone opening up their video. Okay, now everyone, say cheese. 1, 2, and 3. All right, let me see here. It's a great one. Okay, so finally we have come to the end of the seminar. Many thanks to all of the honorable speakers, Pak Albert Simanjuntak, Pak Muhammad Nurdin, Pak Moektianto Soeryowibowo for presenting us such incredible materials. And also thank you to all audiences for your participation. If we get the permission from all 3 companies to share this video, you can view it later on our YouTube channel. And you can also access the photo to our Instagram account at SPE Java section. Hopefully the information that we have shared today will be useful for all of us. It's been a pleasure to host this event, and I wish you all a pleasant day. Good afternoon and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Vino. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye,
Pak.
Albert.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Thanks, Martina.
Nurdin.
Thanks, Albert.
William.
Thank you all.
Thank
Pak
you. Yeah.
Surya.
Thank you, Fania. Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank all the
Thank you
participants.
all.
Bafania, thank you. Thank you, everybody,
All
for
right.
joining us. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks, Mas Alvino. Great
Thank you,
job
Pak.
facilitating us. Thank you.
You're welcome, Pak.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you next time, sir.